Hi, this is Arvind Venugopal here from the Oracle Product Management team, and today we'll be looking at Oracle Process Automation. In the presentation today, we will actually be talking about Oracle Process Automation. And as part of this presentation, we will walk through the total value of process automation, where you would use process automation, and how you would use it. We'll also walk through a couple of case studies to talk about how and where you would use process management and look at some examples. We will also look at process automation in the context of RPA. We'll look at what RPA is, and we'll also go through the details around how you would be able to use RPA along with other capabilities as part of your digital transformation initiatives. As part of Oracle integration, we offer a number of different services that enables you to completely look at your digital transformation processes from an end-to-end business process perspective. We allow you to do application integration, which allows you to connect your different applications and automate end-to-end integration processes. Process automation provides you the ability to eliminate manual repetitive tasks from your day-to-day work, and we'll look at some of the value as part of that. Integration Insight, which covers and gives you high-level business insights and milestones for your business to use, as well as a platform for mobile and web development platforms as well. So today specifically, we'll look at Oracle Process Automation, which is highlighted in red there. So to begin with, let's look at where you would use process automation. Process automation is something that you could use to eliminate manual processes, especially as part of your digital transformation initiatives. As you are going digital, as you are looking at various practices or processes that are happening in your enterprise, you will want to look at a strategic approach that helps you meet regulatory requirements, roll out your processes to external and internal partners and users, drive a culture of collaboration, as well as remove ambiguity from what is happening with manual processes today, streamline them, and enable business units to then gain visibility and control of those business processes. Overall, once you start automating this, one of the additional add-ons that you get is to be able to glean insights from these operations that are happening as well. So some of the examples, another way, or some of the examples that you would use process automation for is extending your current application. So be it customer experience, HCM, ERP, whatever those processes are or applications are, you would be able to drive and build extension or extending applications to those applications, which allow you to automate certain business practices that are driven from those applications. So here we have a few examples here: credit line extension, absence request, discount request. So some of these are examples that are that allow you to extend and enhance these applications using process automation. How do you go through building process automation? So we can take this in 3 steps. Building applications that enable you to automate these processes. So visual no-code practices to help you build process applications. Integrating these applications with your SaaS and on-prem apps that you have within your enterprise. This enables you to take the process applications that you build, extend it to other applications that are in your enterprise, and extend them, as well as connect different data that is going back and forth. Finally, you would be able to engage your employee and customers as part of your process flows, where you would be able to provide experiences to them that contextually streamlines work streams, reduces the need for training, as well as overall increases adoption. So let's look at all of them individually. For the build part, we enable you to have a visual modeling. So a number of different areas where we enable you to do that. So traditional structured process flows. So you would be able to design and develop process applications that are traditional in nature, that are structured. So you would be able to build out visually within the process applications what the process would do. You would be able to build dynamic task boards as well. And then within these, you would be able to create and implement policies, business rules that apply to your enterprise and your business. Finally, we also provide an adaptive no-code, rich web form, which enable you to extend some of these experiences to end users as well. Connecting your process applications to the world. There's a number of different ways in which you would be able to do that. The first off, you would be able to extend your process application by importing integrations to different applications that you have within your enterprise. So if you have integrations that are long running in nature or that are being used from an integration platform, you would be able to use that from within the process application. So here's an example where we are using an application integration that is designed as part of Oracle integration, and you are using that from within the process app. You would be able to use the dynamic functional palette to create and set up complex rules as part of your process application. You would be able to connect your web forms that you created with live data that is coming from various aspects. And finally, you would be able to see consolidated health and monitoring of your various process applications from within the dashboards, which gives you an overall insight as to how everything is performing. From an engagement perspective, there is various different ways in which you would be able to extend your application, your process applications for your users to interact with. You would be able to contextually embed in various apps that you have. Here's an example where you can see from within NetSuite, you could host some of these service requests from branded portals so that you can drive engagement and adoption from users from within those portals. You could have mobile and digital assistant-based engagements as well for your process applications. And lastly, you would be able to drive actions or tasks that are coming directly from email as well. So here are some examples of how you would be able to drive contextual engagement for your users without them having to leave the native experience they're on. However, behind the scenes, they could be engaging with some of the process applications itself. So let's look at a case study here. So let's look at a financial services case management scenario to understand how you would be able to create some of these process applications. So this is an example of, like we talked about, a financial services case management scenario. In this particular case management landing page, you can see that a number of different cases are listed here, where you can see the different case titles, the customers, the status, and who it is assigned to, what was the last modified date. And as a user, you would also be able to start to create a new case. So once you kind of get to that screen, you would have the ability for the user to create or add the information, which enables you to collect the information and then eventually go through the submission process here. Apart from this, you would also be able to enable the user to view attachments, upload attachments as part of their case, as well as update the attachment history that they have here by removing or updating any of them as they need. And once that is done, you would, from a case processing perspective, you would be able to track your case process timeline. So you can actually see the case summary at the top. You can see the summary of actions that are summary of completed and ongoing actions that are available for each of these cases. You can see the case metrics. You can access previous stages. You can see the details around when some of these stages were completed on, how long it took them to be completed. Overall, a lot of these tasks that would be manual in nature could be automated as part from a case management perspective. So here, this is an example of how you would use process automation in the context of a case management application. Let's talk a little bit about robotic process automation. So why does it matter? So robotic process automation is something that you would be able to use as part of your process automation flows. And this would enable you to automate some of your simplistic tasks that are going on where your users are doing it on a repetitive basis. RPA dominantly uses and enables you to automate a lot of the tasks that are repetitive in nature from a user interface perspective. So if there are simplistic use cases where users are going through repetitive tasks from a UI perspective, you would be able to use RPA from RPA technology to automate and digitize a lot of that. And there are two distinct types of RPAs. There are attended ones as well as unattended ones. Attended, some of the examples of attended robots would be where you would be using it with Excel, Outlook, and unattended would be when you are using it with databases as well as other applications like mainframe and such. What are robots really doing? It's fundamentally looking at tasks that are being repeated from a UI perspective and automating that from an end user standpoint. So in this case, the user is actually going through multiple steps that are repetitive in nature, or otherwise you are going through that steps, and RPA lets you automate this from a UI perspective. There are a number of other methods available from an automation perspective. So APIs through SOAP or REST, database connectivity, application adapters, file transfers. You would need integration or long-running integration patterns available for that. Also, if there are underlying interfaces that are available for you to interact with those applications, integration would be a better approach when, let's say, a REST API is available and you're not looking to automate UIs. You would use REST integration rather than RPA as part of your automation practices here. Integration, it's fundamentally built by the business without requiring IT. So integration helps you remove manual repetitive tasks. It enables you to have automation available to everyone within the enterprise. And the integration layer essentially abstracts out the automation from within the underlying systems, which enables you to kind of continue to have integration flows that are non-disruptive to your underlying systems. Even if there are changes undergoing, the abstraction that integration layer provides enables you to decouple them and create things that or flows that would not break when changes happen. The overall RPA promise here, it looks at rather than looking at a traditional technical life cycle, it's a business-led enthusiasm. Rather than using API to API for everything, looking at UI for faster and better, faster and accurate processing. Rather than looking at business process reengineering, it looks at business process optimization. And rather than looking at outsourcing of business processes, it looks at robot economics as part of your ROI as well. And finally, it also drives SMEs as the new developers, and that's finally overall captures the RPA promise that you have. One thing that you would want to kind of look at, and this is from Gartner, micro integration scripts, which are essentially what RPA robots run, are not replacements for humans, right? So some of the things to consider. From a UI level integration perspective, robots are not a replacement for a human person. It's a human itself. It gets information in and out of different systems via integration scripts. You would be able to look at RPA as enabling or increasing productivity, but it's not a like-for-like replacement for headcount. Processes typically also are short running in nature. So for potentially some of the RPA processes are 1.5 seconds max. It doesn't easily automate long running processes. For long running processes, you would still look at BPMS and looking at overall process automation, of which RPA is a part of it. And the other thing to think about would be, you are effectively building long-term technical debt. As part of your RPA process, you are training different user interfaces that are going on, that are available within the enterprise. And predicting the impact of changes to these would be something that you will need to plan for as well. Again, some of the cautions that come from Gartner as you look at RPA's process. So here's an example. So here's a overall integration process that you have here that looks at order processing. So you are looking at various different steps that could be available as part of an overall integration flow. And in one of these examples, we can start to inject an RPA process here. So where if there's a quantity exception that is happening, you would be able to inject a robot into the process that enables you to automate that here from a create order perspective. Another thing to think about there from an Oracle integration platform perspective, there's a number of different ways in which we enable you to look at automating your integrations or business processes or business workflows that you have. Application adapters, REST or SOAP APIs, files, databases, process automation, decision services, digital assistant, and the RPA process automation, primarily the UI screen scraping is something that you would be able to use robots for. Computer vision is essentially imaging or OCR technology. And as far as some of the other capabilities, you can see that they directly map to other capabilities that are available here. So decision services maps to the decision services that's available within the integration platform. Human interaction could be automated through process automation. And then APIs, essentially, you could have various different layers that you will look at. Apart from APIs, you can look at packaged application adapters, REST or SOAP APIs, files, databases. Based on the technology platform that is underneath the application fabric that you have, you would be able to use the technology appropriately as well. As part of RPA and using RPA with integration and process automation, we offer a number of different choices. UiPath and Automation Anywhere are some of the adapters that we would probably provide for RPA, where you would be able to combine robots with APIs as well as humans, where process automation is involved to be able to create a holistic practice or a holistic process that accounts for everything that is going on. Some of the use cases, you could use it for eliminating repetitive manual tasks. You would also be, if you're integrating with legacy applications, that would be another scenario you could look at. And Oracle integration provides you a method by which you would be able to leverage multiple robots across leading vendors, as well as leverage robots as functional assistants in your integration flow.